All right, so we are going to begin our next section or unit on proportion equations. So you guys are going to take notes in your math notebook, and whatever you see on the screen, you should write down as well. The learning target is 1C. I can solve proportion equations. There are 3 steps to solving proportion equations. Step 1 is to cross multiply. Step 2 is to distribute if necessary. Step 3 is to solve. The definition of a proportion equation is just 2 fractions that are equal to each other. So let's take a look at the first example. We have 4 divided by 3 equals x divided by 6. So the first thing you want to do is step 1, which is cross multiply. So you are going to multiply 3 times x equals, and then you're going to cross multiply 4 times 6. Okay. Step 2 is to distribute if necessary, but we don't have anything to distribute here. So let's just go ahead and solve. Let's see, 3 times x is the same as 3x. 4 times 6 is 24. So now to solve this is just a simple one-step equation. Since 3 times x or 3x is multiplication, we are going to do the opposite of multiplication and divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself. 3x divided by 3 cancels out to 1x, or just x. And then 24 divided by 3 is 8. So x equals 8. All right, let's talk about step 2, distribute, because we did not have to distribute on the first example. So let's talk a little bit more about that. All right, so let's look at number 2. We have 2 divided by 10 equals 4 divided by x plus 5. Okay, so I have one fraction that's equal to another fraction. So step 1 says to cross multiply. So we are going to multiply 2 times x plus 5. Now we're not multiplying 2 just by x or 2 just times 5. We have to multiply 2 times x plus 5. So I'm just going to put that in parentheses because it's a group. X plus 5 is a group or an expression. It all goes together. So 2 times x plus 5 equals, and then I'm going to cross multiply 10 times 4. Okay. So we've cross multiplied. Now step 2 says that we have to distribute. So remember, when you have a number that's outside of parentheses, you have to distribute or say hello to each term inside of the parentheses. So 2 is going to say hi and multiply to x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 is going to say hi and multiply to 5. So that 5 is positive, so 2 times positive 5 equals plus 10. And then we're just going to simplify. 10 times 4 is 40. Step 3 is to solve. So we're just going to solve for x. This is like a 2-step equation. So we want to get x by itself. So we don't want to touch this term yet. So let's get rid of this plus 10. We're going to get rid of this plus 10 by doing the opposite of addition, by subtracting 10 on both sides. So these cancel out. We are left with 2x equals 40 minus 10 is 30. Now we have a one-step equation to get x by itself. Remember, we had to multiply 2 times x to get 2x. So now we're going to undo that multiplication by dividing both sides by 2. So the 2's cancel out to 1x, or just x. So x equals 30 divided by 2 is 15. X equals 15. All right, let's take a look at example number 3. We have 2x minus 3 divided by x plus 9 equals 3 divided by 5. So again, we have two fractions that are equal to each other. So step 1 when solving proportion equations is to cross multiply. And since we're going to multiply this 5 times 2x minus 3, I'm going to just group those together in parentheses. Parentheses groups things together. So we're going to cross multiply all of this. We're going to multiply 5 times 2x minus 3. And then we're also going to cross multiply 3 times x plus 9. And again, since you're not just multiplying the 3 times the x or just 3 times the 9, I'm going to group it together. I'm just going to put parentheses here because we have to multiply 3 times all of that. So we're going to cross multiply here. Okay. X plus 9. So there's an acronym, like when you are solving proportion equations, and the acronym is DCMAM. And what it stands for is, the D stands for don't, the C stands for call, the M stands for me, the A stands for after, and the last M stands for midnight. Oh, I'm running out of space. Don't call me after midnight. So that D actually is telling you to distribute. So that means we have to distribute. And there are actually two terms that we have to distribute on this example. First, we have to distribute this 5. We're going to say hi to 2x and multiply. So 5 times 2x is 10x. And then we're going to multiply or distribute this 5 times negative 3. So we're going to say hi and multiply. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Then we have to also do the distribution on the other side because we still have this number with the parentheses. So we're going to distribute 3 times x, which is 3x. And then 3 times 9, which is 27. So that's plus 27 because that 9 is positive. The C stands for combine like terms. Okay, there aren't really any terms to combine. So you can't combine this 10x with the 3x because they're on different sides of the equal sign. So first look on the left, there's nothing to combine here because this term has an x, this one does not. Look on the right side, again, this term has an x, this term does not. So we can't combine anything. The M. So this M stands for move the variable. So we have the variable x over on the left and we have it on the right. We need all of our variables on the same side. Variable. So let's get this 3x. We can subtract it. Since this 3x is positive, we can subtract 3x on both sides. This cancels out. We are left with 7x minus 15 equals 27. So then the A stands for either add or subtract. So again, we're trying to solve for x. This is like a regular two-step equation. So let's get rid of this minus 15. Since it's negative 15 or minus 15, we want to add 15 on both sides. Okay, this cancels out. 27 plus 15 is 42. Okay, and I'm just going to bring my 7x down. And the last M is for multiply. Oops, I can't spell. Multiply or divide. So don't call me after midnight. So since 7x is the same as 7 times x, we got to do the opposite of multiplication by dividing by 7 on both sides. So 7x divided by 7 reduces to 1x, or just x. 42 divided by 7 is 6. X equals 6. Make sure you have this all down in your notebook. Take a picture, submit it for a grade, and we will continue to do more practice with proportion equations.